In the home of baseball's Hall of Fame, one man's fame seems secure. Just ask who invented baseball.
Abner Doubleday.
Abner Doubleday.
Abner Doubleday.
Admiral Doubleday.
So, according to accepted baseball tradition, when you're standing in Cooperstown, here at Abner Doubleday Field, you're standing on hallowed ground. But dig in the garden. That is, dig in the ground of Madison Square Park, where the first two gardens stood on Madison and 26th, and you will find a very different version of baseball's creation and its creator. There in 1842, in Madison Square Park, which still exists today, another man put the bounce in baseball. Alexander Joy Cartwright, a Manhattan shop owner and volunteer fireman, would meet friends in the park to play round ball, a version of British rounders. He also played with the rules, dramatically. Soon the friends formed the first organized baseball, 2 words, club, the Knickerbockers, named after Cartwright's fire brigade. It was a gentleman's club, though on the field, one friend explained,
we were free from all restraint, and throwing off our coats, we played until it was just too dark to see.
Soon the Knickerbockers were playing other teams. This scorecard is from the first interclub game ever, and by 1866, a Currier and Ives print was called the American National Game of Baseball, with pitcher, batter, ump to the side, and runner off third, all frozen in time. But the game was brought to life by Cartwright. The guy on third, it turns out, can run.
Sorry, sir. Tally is scored!
Cartwright's Knickerbockers with white shirts and straw hats popularized the diamond-shaped field. Some say because it fit the dimensions of Madison Square Park, and the notion of throwing to a base for an out, not at a runner. Also, 9 men on a team, 3 outs to an inning, 3 strikes, and you're out. In those days, home was more than a plate, and the plate itself was plate-shaped. Batters hit easy pitches, no overhand allowed, and 1 bouncers were out, no gloves allowed. The fans, called cranks and crankettes, often formed the outfield wall, moving in, making it easier for the home team. At the end, winners cheered losers who sprang for supper.
Let's give them a cheer. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah!
But few cheered Cartwright.
He's shortchanged because there's this myth of Abner Doubleday, who had absolutely nothing to do with baseball.
Yes, Abner Doubleday lived, born in this home in upstate New York. And Abner Doubleday died, eulogized in this 1893 obituary, which didn't mention, nor did his 67 diaries, a sport called baseball. Instead, there's a myth, colorful and comic book-like, started by a baseball commission in 1905. Its head was A.G. Spaulding, player and equipment mogul, who was determined for patriotism and profit to prove baseball was strictly American. He cited Abner Graves, a one-time asylum resident. Graves said Doubleday invented baseball in 1839 in Cooperstown. The commission liked that Doubleday was a small-town war hero, impressed with cannonballs as much as baseballs. It didn't check that he was a West Point cadet, never given leave in 1839. Spaulding wasn't challenged by Doubleday, long deceased. Doubleday was framed. Decades later, reality rallied round Doubleday when Cooperstown opened a Hall of Fame which stood firmly behind the myth, though now it's retreating.
It wasn't until later years that new evidence came forward that showed that perhaps it was other people beside Doubleday, people like Cartwright, that really were more integral to the development of baseball in the 19th century.
Still,
the myth persists, and it's something that Americans just can't seem to let go of, and it's too bad for Alexander Cartwright because he is the father of baseball.
Cartwright does have a plaque in the hall. Doubleday doesn't. But more, Cartwright had a game he loved, one that let him throw off his restraint along with his coat. He taught the game as he wagon trained to California, then sailed to success in Hawaii. One day, his teammates received a letter from Honolulu.
Dear old Knickerbockers, I hope the club is still kept up. I have in my possession our original ball. Sometimes I have thought of sending it home, but I cannot bear to part with it. It has cherished home memories.
Digging in the garden, I'm Alan Oren.